Discrimination against Lezgins in Azerbaijan, a threat to Lezgin identity and the necessity of autonomy. Lezgins, an indigenous people of the Caucasus, constitute a significant portion of Azerbaijan's population. However, despite the declared equality of all ethnic groups, the Lezgin population faces systematic discrimination that threatens the preservation of their language, culture, and identity. This report focuses on key aspects of this discrimination and argues for the necessity of creating a Lezgin autonomous region to protect Lezgin identity. The language issue. One of the most acute aspects of discrimination is the suppression of the Lezgin language. The lack of official status for the Lezgin language in areas with a significant Lezgin population leads to its displacement by the Azerbaijani language. This is manifested in limited use of the Lezgin language in education. School education is predominantly conducted in Azerbaijani, limiting access to education in the native language and hindering the transmission of knowledge and traditions from generation to generation. Insufficient representation of the Lezgin language in the media. The limited number of media outlets in the Lezgin language leads to a decrease in the consumption of the Lezgin language in daily life and a reduction in its prestige. Lack of support for Lezgin literature and culture. Limited access to books, films, and other cultural products in the Lezgin language contributes to the gradual forgetting of the language and culture. Renaming of historical monuments and falsification of history. The systematic renaming of historical monuments in the old part of Baku, which have Lezgin origins, and their appropriation by Azerbaijani culture is an act of cultural vandalism that distorts historical truth and erases the memory of Lezgin contributions to the formation of the region as culture. Furthermore, the falsification or complete absence of Lezgin history in Azerbaijani school curricula deprives the younger generation of knowledge about their heritage and contributes to assimilation. Restrictions on the display of Lezgin symbols and changes to surnames. Restrictions on the use of Lezgin symbols, including the prohibition of publicly displaying flags and other national symbols, suppress the cultural self-expression of Lezgins. The practice of forcibly changing Lezgin surnames to Azerbaijani ones is a gross violation of human rights and contributes to ethnic assimilation. Lack of status for the Lezgin language and poverty in areas of compact residence. The lack of official status for the Lezgin language is further exacerbated by poverty in the areas where Lezgins live in concentrated numbers. The lack of investment in infrastructure, education, and healthcare creates unequal living conditions and hinders the development of Lezgin culture. The necessity of creating a Lezgin autonomous region. The creation of a Lezgin autonomous region is a necessary step to preserve Lezgin identity. Autonomy would guarantee official status for the Lezgin language. This would allow the use of the Lezgin language in education, media, and government institutions, ensuring its preservation and development. Investment in infrastructure and economic development. Autonomy would allow for investment in the region, improving the quality of life for the Lezgin population. Protection and promotion of Lezgin culture. Autonomy would create favorable conditions for the development of Lezgin culture, including support for education, arts, and media. Strengthening political representation. Autonomy would allow Lezgins to have greater representation in government bodies, which would contribute to the protection of their interests. Conclusion: the systematic discrimination against Lezgins in Azerbaijan poses a serious threat to their identity. The creation of a Lezgin autonomous region is not merely a political demand but a necessary measure for preserving the Lezgin language, culture, and identity. It is a way to ensure equal rights and opportunities for the Lezgin people and prevent their assimilation. The resolution of this issue should be based on the principles of respect for human rights, international norms, and dialogue between all interested parties.